And he was literally trying to get me to move to Sweden. He was saying how they adored natives over there, and if I wanted to be treated like the person I was intended to be treated as, that's where I should, you know, think about going, is over to Sweden. I'm still here, so obviously I never took him up on his offer, but really concerned about where housing is for natives within Calgary, where the resources for women experiencing abuse are within Calgary, and where the healing can take place for people who've been mistreated within the foster care system. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yvonne, for sharing your story. There are places that people can go to get assistance with healing. I know Elbow River Healing Lodge has wonderful Aboriginal staff there that can provide healing opportunities. The Truth and Reconciliation is also working with the Friendship Center around programming there as well. And you know, in working with Dutton, the Women's Shelter, Josie has been wonderful in running that facility for many, many years. And it is a struggle when it comes down to money, particularly in this day and age when cutbacks are quite varied at both federal and provincial levels. But funders, we work with water funders, are very willing to work with the community and find solutions to these issues. And often it doesn't happen overnight, but in having people like yourselves and others who have concerns in this area to move forward and to work with funders and work with government in a proactive way, I think we will see that opportunity. And you know, I'd love to have a discussion with you afterwards, you know, and see if there's opportunities or things that can get you connected with in the community. Because I think that your passion, your interest, will definitely, you know, be worthwhile in getting connected with people in the community. Thank you.
I think, is there any other question? There is. We'll try to get those two questions answered. If you're trying to be brief, we're running into a time.
Hi, my name is Evelyn. I work as a diversity trainer for Calgary Catholic Immigration Society. And I've been living in Calgary for over 30 years, and all my life I have been looking for opportunities to connect and learn more about our First Nations Aboriginal people, and I'm really happy we have this, and we have Aboriginal Week. I understand that as well. So I just want to suggest, like for all of us here, maybe next time we can just bring a friend with us, because I still notice that there is some kind of reluctance to kind of get to know, learn more about Aboriginal people in general. So another idea would be, for example, have an art exhibition, have an author reading, so that we have more opportunities to get to know each other better. And I find really the last 5 years there are more and more opportunities to kind of get into contact. But please keep up the good work and have more things coming out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
she get up because she's been waiting patiently. She's been bumped many, many times.
Go ahead.
First Nation makes canoes.
That's what she knows, that First Nation makes canoes. What else would you like to say, Sam? Nothing? Okay. I've been trying to educate her on First Nation issues, and if you are to ask her on a regular day, she'll say the white man came and stole all the land. So I thought she might elaborate. The one question I wanted to ask you was, there's an initiative right now to article the UN to try to get the Canadian Aboriginal quest labeled as genocide. And I wanted to know, as a human rights forum, if you feel that that is appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's. I'm aware of the discourse around that, and I think in the Indigenous community, the term that we most often use is cultural genocide. And I think that is very, very accurate, because that is what happened. And somebody earlier mentioned that, you know, even today there is this huge disparity on so many levels. I heard one of our federal politicians use a term earlier this week, and and that term was educational apartheid. Exists today in terms of the chasm that exists between Indigenous and non-Indigenous education levels. So I would personally say yes, absolutely, it was a form of genocide that happened, and we are dealing with the fallout of that.
Again, I agree with Marie with that. I'd say from a personal standpoint, absolutely. The destruction that's happened over, the last 100 years of our people, and then some. I'm the first generation in my family that did not go to residential school, so it's not that far off that people think it happened so long ago, and it hasn't. So yeah, growing up in a First Nations home and seeing the after effects that it's had on my family, my relations, my cousins, and having that environment, and being, I'd say, the benefits of living in an urban center and back and forth on reserve was that having the opportunity to be educated on both sides and making those decisions and coming to conclusions on my own has really helped in that understanding of that cultural genocide that's happened. And I would agree that from Marie's standpoint in clarifying the genocide aspect, it's cultural genocide.
Thank you. One final question.
Yes. Hi, my name is Jose. I'm like a newcomer, in Canada, actually. So it's very impacting me, this information that you are giving us today. Most because we are in a first country, and I know that this happened in South America, but we are still being a third world country. But it's very shocking knowing that this happened here in Canada. So my first question is, in Maine State, in the United States, in 1980, the government recognized that the Aboriginal in that land, the government recognized that they were the owners of those lands before the European came. So in 1980 something, they compensate these Aboriginal people with lands and with some millions of dollars. So what kind of relation has this big issue for Aboriginal in the United States with what is going on, what it has been doing here in Canada? The other question is, I'm here in Canada because this huge immigration program for skilled workers that the government of Canada have around the world. And my question is, what is the government doing to involve or to integrate the Aboriginal into college, into university? And what is the rate? What is the rate of Aboriginal people coming out from the universities? So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll take the land issue. The answer is yes. There are many initiatives that have been going on in Canada for the last couple of decades now. Alberta is the only province that has the Métis Settlements Act, and a number of years ago, 1.28 million acres of land were transferred to the Métis people, so we have Métis settlements across the province, and it gives the Métis people, with some restrictions certainly, limited control over their lands and what they do with that. We have literally hundreds of cases in the courts right now settling broken treaties because the government, certainly the courts, have recognized that pretty much every treaty in Canada was broken. The land obviously was given over to settlement or to development or to cities in most areas of the country, not in most parts of British Columbia. That's a whole different issue. But the way these are being settled in the courts is it's very difficult to give the land itself back because it's being used otherwise. But what is happening when these land claims are settled is often what happens is there is a compensation and accompanied by treaty land entitlements, which gives the First Nation, not the Métis, but the First Nation,